today I want to go over like 3 things you need to know to make every workout a waist training, or as we'll talk about, it's the transverse abdominis, that deep core muscle that wraps around your waist, cinches your waistline in, how we can make every workout target that muscle, okay? I'll go through with just starting with an actual exercise that you wouldn't think of as a core exercise and show you how to make it work for you. Now, I want you to basically remember 3 things. I just made up this acronym. It is BBP or PBB, okay? You need 2 B's and a P. Now, 1 B stands for breath, another B stands for balance, and the P stands for posture. When you consider those 3 things, you can make every single workout a waist training workout. Okay, why? So the deepest core muscle, you have 4 muscle layers of the abdominal wall. Your deepest core muscle is your transverse abdominis. The transverse abdominis wraps around your waistline, cinches it in. Okay, what does the transverse abdominis do? The transverse abdominis is a postural muscle. It helps you stand up nice and tall. Okay. Another thing it does is when you give a really good full exhale, it helps you with that too. And balance, it helps you stay balanced. So when you focus on those 3 things, posture, breath work, and balance, you can target the deep core muscle, the waist training muscle, with just altering those things. Okay, so let me explain. All right, what I want you to do with me right now, stand up nice and tall, okay, or sit up nice and tall. Let's look at posture. All right, what I want you to do is put your head forward and let your tummy hang out. All right, just let it hang out. Now I want you to pretend as though somebody has got you from the top of your head, pulls you up nice and tall. Posture, correcting your posture, pull you up nice and tall. You see how my stomach went in because I pulled myself up nice and tall? That's because when I improve my posture, when I try to make sure that my posture is elongated, that uses your deepest core muscle, the transverse abdominis, or your waist trainer muscle. Okay, so that's 1. Just proving that to you. Do that exercise and see how that actually makes a difference. When you stand up nice and tall and you really use your core to elongate you upwards, you have a harder time pushing your stomach out. Okay, all right. Another thing is balance. If you get off balance, it's your core, your deep core, that has to bring you back to balance. It has to help aid in bringing you back to balance. That's why they have those things like the Bosu balls, the half balls, because when you stand on them, you really have to use your core, right? And breath, I want you to give me a good inhale deep down into your stomach, expanding your ribs, and I want you to give me a good exhale, breathing out all of your air while you're standing up nice and tall, right? Get it all out. When you do that, you're engaging your deep core. Okay, let's apply that to an exercise. Let's say that I want to work my glutes, okay? So I'm not thinking about my core so much. I'm just like, I want to work my glutes, but how can I turn that into a core workout? So I am going to, we're going to do 9 pounds, okay? So let's do a deadlift, all right? Let's just focus on one thing, posture, okay? So let's say that I am using this dumbbell to do a deadlift, and I'm kind of hunched over. You know how you get those muscle guys? They're like, yeah, and they're kind of hunched over, really engaging their rectus abdominis, or these 6-pack muscles, okay? So when I'm doing that, because I'm slightly flexed to really hold like this, I'm really putting a lot of emphasis on the rectus abdominis, the 6-pack muscles, especially the upper abs. So the intention and force is coming from that upper part, okay? Now let's look at a different postural change. Let's say that my back is arched like this, okay? Now when I'm doing my deadlifts and my back is arched, I'm really using my back muscles, okay? My paraspinals, because that's where the force, the intention is going, all right? Now let's say that I elongated my spine upwards. Like I said before, posture. We're talking about how to make every workout a waist training workout. One thing we're looking at right now is posture with a deadlift. So let's say instead of arching my back this way and really, or arching my back this way and lifting like this, I'm going to elongate and make myself nice and long, okay? So I'm going to keep this lengthened posture straight up while I move down. When I do that, I'm going to really focus on using my deep core, because I'm not doing like this, using the paraspinals, doing like this, focusing on the rectus abdominis. I'm going nice and long, and I'm going to really use the deep core. Try that. Try that at home and see the difference. So when you're doing a workout, even if you're doing something with your arms, whatever it is, make sure that you're keeping your posture nice and lengthened up straight, okay? Okay, what about breath? All right. So breath, instead of just lifting heavy, holding our breath or not thinking about it, when you are doing any kind of exercise to really target the waist training muscle, make sure you're exhaling in the hardest part of that movement. So as you're going down, that's probably not the hardest part, but as you're lifting up, especially if it's with a lot of weight, your posture is nice and elongated. I want you to give a good exhale as you lift up to really generate that force. Okay? When you exhale in the hardest part of that movement, I go through all this in much detail in my 8-week core challenge, but when you exhale in the hardest part of that movement, you engage your deepest core muscle, the waist trainer muscle, the transverse abdominis, okay? So elongated posture, exhaling on the hardest part of that movement, your core is going to be on fire, okay? Along with your glutes, hamstrings, and everything else that this move is supposed to be working, right? All right, so we went over posture, breath, now balance. You see how I'm just using one dumbbell instead of two? So if I have two, it gives me good balance on both sides. But if I have one, it's kind of really throwing off my balance. Without thinking about it, I'm having to use my transverse abdominis to keep me balanced. So one thing that I do, and you'll see this in my Fit Club or some of my total body workouts that are core focused, I'll do one side at a time so that my body has to work at keeping me upright. So with this deadlift, I'm using breathing, posture, and balance to really help me target my core as well as the other parts of the body that the deadlift usually helps. So that's what I'm going to do right now. You can do this 10 times on each side, okay? So you're going to get a good glute workout, good hamstring workout, so that you can help if you have an anterior tilt. You're going to go down, inhale, up, exhale, okay? Do that 10 times. Do that 10 times on the other side. Do 3 sets of those. Like I said, glutes, hamstrings, you're going to work your core. It's going to be on fire, okay? If you do those exercises with intention. All right, let's do another one. Let's make that a combo move so that you're getting a bunch of things at one time. So instead of just going down, inhale, exhale, going up, now I want you to lift this up. Ready? Up. Okay, and as you push up, give another little exhale. That makes that a super total body move, okay? But again, you have the weight on one side, so our posture is elongated. I exhaled as I, okay? And my balance is off, so I'm having to really use my core to keep it up there, all right? And then you can give it a couple of marches as well. Let's give it 2 marches. All right, now this is really gonna take me off balance. So my core has to work even more because I lifted my foot. Now let's do the other side. Oh my goodness, if you just do this one move, like for the rest of the week, come back and tell me that that's not doing something for you, okay? So we could do on each side, 10 on each side. So instead of just a deadlift, remember BBP, right? Breath, balance, and posture. So we start off with an elongated posture, nice and tall, really using that deep core muscle. We're gonna go down with an inhale, up with an exhale, inhale, exhale, push it up, and give me 2 marches, nice and slow. So you can hold that balance. Your core is gonna feel this. Do 10 of those on each side, okay? So whatever move that you're gonna do, let's say you're doing, working with your biceps and doing a squat, okay? Let's put this on the other side. Again, using the weight on just one side will affect balance, making sure you're nice and tall, not twerking this way, not arch this way. Let's go down for a squat. This is another great move that you can do. And just coming down and back up, give it a bicep curl. And even though you're working your arms and your glutes, because you have the weight on one side, again, you're challenging the balance of your core. And if you're using your breath, using that elongated posture, you're really going to make an impact on your core. And that's how you make every move a waist trainer move. Here's another tip I want to give you. I should have worn my bone suit too. You want to make sure, as far as posture is concerned, elongating up, but you also want to stack your ribs over your pelvis. That's another little cheater tip, okay? So if your ribs, pretend like it's like a bowl and it's open down, okay? You want it in the bottom, your pelvis is like a bowl open up. And you want them facing each other like this. So if you're like this bowl is facing this way, this bowl is facing that way. If you're like this bowl is facing that way, this bowl is facing. You want them facing each other. So that's one thing that you can do to make sure that you are using your transverse abdominis, your waist trainer muscle, whatever you're doing, even if you're just walking throughout your day. You know, if you're just taking a nice walk, lengthen up, make sure that you're not spilling forward or spilling backwards. Have this bowl facing this bowl, and then even try to separate the two. You see my stomach? Look at my stomach. As I try to separate the two, it flattens because it's engaging that waist trainer muscle. The waist trainer muscle, the transverse abdominis, wraps around, cinches your waistline in. So I hope this was helpful.